Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Whiteboard. My name is Harshit, and I'm the Director of Business Alliances at WYTLABS. We are a digital agency specializing in SaaS and e-commerce this year. And I've got Omari with me. He's the founder of Sqspthemes. It's a curated directory of Squarespace themes and plugins. A big welcome to you, Omari, and I'm so happy to have you with me today.
Thanks for the warm welcome, Harshit.
Now, before we dive into our Squarespace themes, can you please let our viewers know a little bit about you and your professional journey so far?
Sure. I am a proud father, husband, coach, consultant, and digital entrepreneur. I started my digital journey full time about 10 years ago when I went on paternity leave. I decided that I wasn't going to go back to my corporate career at the time, which was in engineering. I was going to figure out how to do things my way so that my son would grow up and witness what that was like. He's almost 10 in a few weeks, so I've been at this for 10 years now. And like you said, my primary business is helping web designers overcome the limitations of the Squarespace website builder.
Okay. And what really inspired you? What was the source of inspiration to come up with the Squarespace theme and its mission to basically help the designers and developers?
Yeah, so I've been interested in web design since I was 13, 14 years old. This is like at the turn of the last century.
Right.
But I didn't know that it was a viable career path at the time because the internet was so young. When my mom asked me what I wanted to do and I said web design, she questioned that. What do you mean? Can you make money with that? Is that a real thing? And because at the time it wasn't, I took a conventional path of going to school and getting an engineering degree and then a graduate degree in marketing. And during all of that time, I would always create websites for my school projects, or if I had a music project, or if a friend had a project, I would create websites. But I never made any money doing it. And so when I started freelancing full time, then it became a necessity. And because Squarespace was such an easy platform to work with, initially I thought if I can do this myself, why would anyone pay to do it, pay for you to do it for them when we're talking about a DIY website builder, do it yourself website builder. And I quickly learned that even though it is a do it yourself platform, there's still a lot of limitations that in order to accomplish different goals, you have to either learn how to do custom code to break through some of those limitations, or you just have to be really creative in terms of coming up with workarounds and solutions to some of these problems.
Yeah. Makes sense. And because we talked about limitations, I would love to take your opinion on this. You being yourself, you're passionate about SEO yourself, right? And me being in the niche for so long, I've always struggled with these site builder site platforms altogether. In fact, like most of the SEOs would agree with me. They almost pull their hair when it comes to taking care of technical implementations, either on Squarespace or on Wix or any other. There are tons of them right now, right? In the market. And I would love to take your opinion on this. Like, how flexible is Squarespace, and are there solutions? Because I've used it in the past. I'm not sure of the current scenario, but you tell me.
Yeah.
We like just personally prefer WordPress a lot. There's always reason for it, like 100% flexibility to implement almost anything. But yeah, I would love to take your views on Squarespace.
Yeah.
Please.
So the thing about limitations is what I've found is that they breed a certain amount of creativity and it forces you to focus on what you can control within those limitations. So Squarespace has grown over the past decade in terms of their SEO features, which I think are still pretty basic. However, because of those limitations, it forces you to focus on the content and the backlinks and creating the relevant content that Google's looking for. While there are a lot of technical or programmatic things that you can't do with Squarespace, for the small and creative businesses that it serves and caters to, you can do just fine. My website, for a period of time, it ranked above Squarespace within the Squarespace niche. And I think that speaks to both Google's evolution as a search engine, and then also at the platform's evolution as a website builder.
Gotcha. Okay. Would love to know, could you please highlight any specific success stories where your business played a crucial role in meeting or exceeding a client's vision altogether?
This is a great question because I didn't have a nicely packaged answer for it,
Yeah.
but I do have hundreds of testimonials that I think speak to this question.
Okay.
And typically what the message I get is that uh, me and my developer, we've been extremely helpful outside of business hours, beyond the scope of the initial request. And I think those two two elements of our support and our service is really what our customers love and appreciate us for, is that timeliness, the willingness and ability to go the extra mile, and doing it consistently in season and out of season.
And what sets you apart? What are the main USPs for your business?
Yeah, so we help web designers break through the limitations of Squarespace, but I think our USP is the fact that we're not the only ones who do that, but we're the only ones who promote everyone else who does that. So what I'm saying is, while we have our own in-house tools and solutions that we've created for the market, we also highlight and feature all of the solutions and tools that have been created for the market, because just because you come to us for one thing, it doesn't mean that we can't serve you with someone else's solution or someone else's service as well. So that I think is what makes us stand out in the market, is we take a holistic marketing perspective in terms of how we serve the market.
Okay. And how exactly the revenue model works for you when it comes to promoting the third-party plugins or themes on your site?
Yeah, so we're affiliate partners for the other template and plugin creators. And that accounts for maybe 20% of the overall revenue. So it's not a primary driver, but I see it as like a community service thing too, as well, where the priority isn't necessarily the revenue, but it's the awareness of what exists and the availability of what the market has to offer.
Alright. And now drawing from your experience in testing SEO and content marketing strategies, what are the key insights that you can share? And how exactly your website support your users in that area?
Yeah, so I have three different mindsets when it comes to SEO.
Oh,
The one that I prefer is what I call blue ocean SEO, where the thing that you're searching for just doesn't exist yet.
okay.
And usually, either that starts off as like a low volume keyword where there's just not a lot of people searching, or it's something that is just around the corner, right on the horizon. I love those types of content because it means I'm first on the web, so to
Yeah.
speak, which I love that feeling because you're at the edge of the internet, right? The internet has been being built for the past, or the public World Wide Web for the past 30 years or so. And so it's always nice when you can create something that isn't already there, because it means the next person who searches for it, they're going to find you first.
Yeah.
And then there's obviously, I call this karmic SEO, where there's a lot of results for a particular query, but they haven't been consolidated. Other people talk about this as like aggregate. I've taken the approach that aggregate sites take sometimes, where you take the best of a result and you highlight that and add some commentary or add some human perspective, so that you're essentially making the search experience better for the searcher. You're making it easier for Google to serve up something useful. And for the people who are already in that search engine results, you're also doing them a favor as well
Oh,
by aggregating their content. And if Google serves that up first, then you've done everyone a favor. So I call that karmic SEO because you're helping everyone out. Everyone wins, win-win. And then finally, I have another perspective that I call gentrified SEO, where the market is already, dominant. There's already a lot of content out there for a particular query, but some of it is dilapidated, some of it is broken, some of it is old and outdated. And so coming in and redeveloping that content so that it is more up to date, it's more modern, it's more visually appealing. I do that a lot less. but it is the kind of mindset that I approach that kind of SEO. So that's how I bucket my SEO perspective. And because I don't offer SEO services at the moment, and I haven't in a number of years, it's the kind of thing that you just learn from me by either listening to my podcast or, you
Yeah.
know, consulting with me one on one.
Gotcha. I would love to know because you're building community. You got more than 3K entrepreneurs on it. How exactly are they contributing to the success and growth of your platform?
Yeah, so when I started SQSP Themes in 2015, I started a Facebook group at the same time and I started an email list at the same time because as a marketer, I understood that I would need a community in parallel to support the business and also to serve as a social proof element. So I remember early on when I was still working with clients, it would always help if they saw, oh, he also has a community where he serves hundreds or thousands of other people just like me, right? So that always helped in terms of authority and trust factor. And then the email newsletter that I started at the same time, it grows with the business. So
Yeah.
there's no way to get on the news. There is now, but up until recently, the only way to get on the newsletter is if you were a customer or you had joined the Facebook group. So what it does is it creates a very insular community around the business that can feed on itself. The community can run autonomously. It doesn't require my input. The newsletter, it develops a more intimate relationship with my previous customers because now they can get to know me better. They could get to know the other offerings. So I those two assets are probably just as critical as any other part of the business.
Makes sense. And because been quite some time now, around I think since 2015, we've been working, building this business altogether. Would love to know some of the most significant challenges that you have faced while building this, and how did you navigate or overcome that?
Yeah, so I think the I'm gonna just talk about the biggest challenge, and the biggest challenge is sales, right? Making money. And I think a lot of times it's easy to like gloss over that. But and the reason that's a challenge, or in my experience, is because there are the external things you can do, but then there's also the internal things that you need to do in order to become effective in transferring the conviction needed to make a sale. And so my biggest challenge has been my own personal growth and evolution in terms of feeling confident and secure in what it is that I have to offer so that when I go out into the market, it's effortless for me to communicate what it is that I have and to make that sell. Versus when I started, I had a lot of confidence, but I quickly ran into rejection, different forms of rejection. And I think overcoming that fear of rejection, overcoming the fear of people not caring, not wanting what you have, not paying attention, all of those fears, which for me originated long before I decided to become an engineer, become an entrepreneur. Once I became an entrepreneur, it was like all of those fears came rushing back because now you're putting yourself in front of strangers from all over the world, from all different walks of life, and overcoming the fact that you've been rejected in the past by people who weren't strangers. You've been rejected in the past by people who you love and people who love you too. Putting yourself in a world and in an environment where you have to overcome those emotional challenges has been my biggest challenge. And it's the thing that I'm very passionate about now, as you could probably hear, because I find that the fear of rejection isn't unique to me. For a while, I thought it was. For a while, I thought I was the only one. But I'm learning that this is a human experience. And so leaning into the human experience and empathizing with it and sympathizing with it from my own experience has been the biggest challenge and breakthrough for me in my business.
No, that's wonderful. I would love to know because it's been quite some time and your space is way too competitive. How exactly do you envision, your business heading in future? And are there any specific initiatives that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, great question. So when I started Sqspthemes.com, there was maybe one or two other Squarespace template creators at that time. And there was one plugin shop at that time. And so I've had I call it the market and privilege of being able to watch the market sophistication grow and evolve from being in the beginning of it. So I've watched the competition grow, and the way that I thought about it originally and still think about it is I'm not in competition with these people. I'm actually here to serve my competition.
Yeah.
So because of that, the more competition that comes along, the more people I have to serve. And so that creates a really wonderful dynamic where I don't have to be, I'm not, there's no threats to my business because the core purpose is to overcome limitations. And so those limitations are always expanding or sometimes they're contracting, but there's always some form of limitation. And because I'm not the only one who's tackling these limitations, I'm also able to serve the others who are tackling these same limitations as well. That's how I orient myself in terms of competition and moving forward. Because that has been true for a long time, and I haven't necessarily vocalized it in the way I'm vocalizing it to you now. I can now even do that more confidently. I can push the business forward just off of that term alone, and it's the sustainability is built in and guaranteed off of that premise.
You got wonderful model altogether working in your favor. Yes. Okay. Now, is there any additional insights or message that you would like to share with our audience? Whether it's about your own business or the broader field of web development and design.
Yeah, so tagging on to your last question, what does the future look like, and the things that I'm most passionate about now are helping people to navigate those business transitions, especially a solopreneur, going from a salaried job to no salary and having to figure it out on your own. And then going from successfully being able to freelance and create some income for yourself to transition into digital products or more passive streams of income so that you can fulfill those time goals and dreams that you probably had back in the cubicle. So those are the things that I'm most passionate about now, is helping people to navigate those transitions and the limitations, the mindset limitations, the limiting beliefs that make those transitions so difficult.
Yeah. Okay. We're coming to an end here, and I would love to have a quick rapid fire with you. Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. I never done this before.
Okay. What is not a big deal to most people, but is a torture to you?
Oh, not a big deal to most people, but torture to me. Small talk.
All right. Okay. What word record do you think you have a shot at beating?
Oh, it can be, I don't know, probably like fastest to fall asleep in a movie.
All right. Are you more cautious or bold?
People would say I'm bold.
Okay. Now tell me this thing then. What never fails to make you laugh?
Oh, yeah, my children, probably. Yeah, my
Okay.
children.
That's a good answer. Okay, now coming to my very last question. What's your last Google search?
Oh, probably a customer.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the time, all the wisdom that you've shared in today's session about yourself, about the business, and in general, entrepreneurship. I really appreciate your time here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Harshit. I've enjoyed this as well.